To me, I don't mind, but I'm also an adult, so, you know, I don't know how kids are gonna respond to this movie. I'm used to seeing Liam Neeson in serious roles, so when I saw him in this role, I was kind of scared, but honestly, the fact that he has such a serious voice and such a serious looking face just absolutely, it just helped this movie. It was perfect, honestly. Hi. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am still alive and I am here to review Sketch, directed by Seth Wardley, and this is starring Tony Hale as the dad, Darcy Carton, and Bianca Bell as the daughter. Short summary of this movie: basically after the death of her mother and his partner, a widowed father moves and faces the challenges when his daughter's drawings become real, affecting their town. So I am going to start with the positives. Honestly, the number one thing I'm going to say about this movie is that the CGI is honestly quite spectacular. Actual monsters actually look like sketches, which I really liked, and they're actually really creative too. I think I even saw the episode of The Corridor Crew where they actually had the director talking about some of the CGI, and it was actually really cool to learn that. This of both the father and the daughter letting go of the fact, you know, that they lost a loved one, and that is incredibly hard. They're going through the grieving process, each of them handling it differently, but both of them are still in a lot of pain because of it, and you can see it. Very touching moment, honestly. I very appreciated that they tackled that subject. It is a very dark and, you know, kind of strong subject depending, but it was a very beautiful story to tell. For the acting portion, honestly, the father, Tony Hale, and Bianca did great. They were honestly fine in this movie. It was everyone else that was not great, honestly. See, Carton was honestly, her character was incredibly annoying the entire movie. I really didn't like it, frankly. You know, there's a lot of child actors in this movie, and unfortunately not all of them hit the mark. There's a lot of really bad child acting in this movie, so just be aware of that. I didn't mind the dark aspect of this movie. I actually like movies like that, so it didn't really bother me. It felt fresh for me. That is going to go into my negatives of the movie, is the fact that this movie is PG rated, which I'm surprised because I can see why some kids would freak out seeing this movie. To me, I don't mind, but I'm also an adult, so, you know, I don't know how kids are gonna respond to this movie. You know, the way that the sketches come to life and, you know, that whole story behind that is a little cheesy, you know, with a side of corny. It wasn't bad, it was just like, oh, that's why? Alright, whatever, I guess. Music was honestly not the greatest. Yeah, the music was bad, it was inappropriate a lot of times, very loud too. There was something wrong with the audio mixing. There were just some portions that sounded incredibly loud and then some portions that sounded incredibly like low, like I'm trying to understand and then all of a sudden I'm just blasted. But yeah, did I hate this movie? No, I actually quite enjoy myself. I can see why a lot of people are not gonna enjoy it though, because, you know, there's a lot good with it, but there's also a lot bad with it. So overall, because I did enjoy the darker aspects of this movie and I thought that the ending, you know, although forgettable, it was an appropriate ending, I am going to be giving this movie a 6 out of 10. I do recommend it for theaters, but if you don't want to do that, wait for it on streaming. It's still just as enjoyable. I'm just not sure that it's actually a kids movie. Just full-blown warning. I'm gonna start off by saying that this movie was honestly a great time. So just full-blown warning, am I a great judger of comedy? No, good sir. Sometimes I have that moment in the movie Temple Grandin. If I'm able to find the clip, I'll show it to you guys and put it on here.
Sir, Scottsdale Feedlot signed off on my cattle agitation study.
Smells like half the herd signed it first.
No, sir, cattle can't do that.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that with comedy, okay? It sometimes happens. I'm not perfect. And I haven't seen any of the previous Naked Gun movies before seeing this one. Just full-blown warning. I enjoy comedy. Some of my favorite movies are like Tropic Thunder, The Hangover, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, Napoleon Dynamite. Guilty Pleasure's honestly gonna be Blades of Glory. I don't know why, I just absolutely love that movie. Basic synopsis of this story is Lieutenant Frank Drebin Jr. becomes a police officer like his legendary father and must save the police department from shutting down by solving a case. Let's be real, ladies and gentlemen, comedy has been on a huge decline nowadays, especially when it comes to Marvel comedy. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I went into this movie not with the greatest of hopes, and I was incredibly pleasantly surprised. I'm used to seeing Liam Neeson in serious roles, so when I saw him in this role, I was kind of scared, but honestly, the fact that he has such a serious voice and such a serious looking face just absolutely, it just helped this movie. It was perfect, honestly. I have no idea how many lines were said that because of his facial expressions were just dead serious, they were the most hilarious things I ever heard in my life. And just the intro, oh, I don't want to say too much because I do want to stay spoiler free, but even the introduction of him and the villain, oh my god, the whole theater just erupted. It was so funny. Pam Anderson was absolutely great in this movie. I was pleasantly surprised. She was great, but so was so many of the other characters. Everyone did a great job. It felt like honestly a real typical 90s movie. It kind of brought in that nostalgia, which I very much miss. Oh, it's just amazing. Danny Hudson as Richard Kane was great. He has played so many villain roles that when you put him in this one, it's like clearly he knows what he's doing, and it was great. I loved him in this role. He was one of the standouts, at least for me. He never took itself seriously, and it helps it tremendously, unlike so many other movies nowadays. There's some use of CGI in this movie, which didn't bother me. It was honestly great. And a little bit of like found footage as well, which that was a little weird at first, but after a bit, you kind of do get used to it, frankly. Now, do all of the jokes hit? No, of course, not all of the jokes hit. I would say like, what, 75%? I don't know. Like 60% of them didn't really hit, but the ones that did were honestly enough to keep you engaged with the movie. Highly recommend. I will be giving this movie a 7 out of 10. No questions asked. Check it out in theaters with some friends. You will have a blast. Guys, if you absolutely disagree, ladies and gentlemen, take it down to the comment section below. Leave a like and subscribe on your way there. This is gonna be a little crazy. I'm gonna try to keep up with some of the movies, but unfortunately, no promises. But I'll see y'all for the next one. Bye.